Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, pause this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. In the context of this podcast, everybody refers to us and our cat. You are free to feel however you want about Rand, who is a fictional character. Don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
Okay.
I just went outside
Yeah.
to get my seeing glasses.
I remember.
Not my sunglasses.
Right.
Thanks to Bolt for adding your chorus to this story. And as I was walking, I overheard a lady say, angrily, I can drink wine and have a good time if I want to. And I wanted to be like, yeah, you can, girl.
To whom did she
I don't know.
say
I
this?
couldn't hear it. It was like on the third floor, but they had their like sliding door open.
Is it the one directly above us?
No, it was. Actually, it might have been, but I thought it was coming from across from us.
One time I had to bring mail to the neighbors above us.
Oh.
Because it got put in our mailbox wrongly. And I'll be frank, it seemed like the type of people who would say, I can drink wine and have a good time
If I
doing it.
want to.
If I want to.
And I was like, well, I hope that no one's
Yeah,
stopping
no
you
one's-
from having
the
a good
fun
time.
police are like,
But
stop.
also, wine isn't a personality.
Everyone just thinks it is. Alcohol is not a personality. Men, if you drink whiskey, you do not get masculinity points. That's dumb, and it doesn't work like that.
It's true.
Thank you for attending my concert. Whoa.
Anyway, I have a really bad headache, guys, so I apologize for any word salad that comes out of. Oh my god, speaking of being seen, today, there's a lot going on here. This is what I was warning you about. No, this is what I'm just normally like. Today, I was downstairs, whatever. I was with some coworkers because we were solving some sort of, like, technical problem regarding the number of emails that the aviary has. Is like, a long story.
Okay.
But, like, periodically people were being, like, interviewed, and I was like, I only have 2 emails that I'm responsible for. Please free me from this. And another one of my coworkers walks in with a coffee, and I was like, oh, what'd you get? And he was like, I got the pumpkin cold brew. And I was like, of course you did. And he's like, have you tried it? And I was like, no, I don't drink coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other coworker was like, well, what's your vice then? And jokingly, I was like, I don't have any. And Gethin was like, it's Tylenol. And I was like, I hate you.
Damn, Gethin?
Yeah. I was like, that was very accurate and rude.
Gethin. Ben knew.
It was pretty funny, though.
Gethin was not Boo Boo the Fool.
Yeah. So
Wow.
anyway, in terms of being seen,
It's pretty mortifying.
yeah.
Wow.
I was like, I hate you. It's so accurate and mean.
It's Tylenol.
It's funny. Anyway, this is our stupid podcast.
This is Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. This is Emily Jushaw.
And this is Sally Goodger.
Yep, good job.
Thank you.
I'm thinking about vices and how pleasant it is to have a vice that just everyone knows right off the
Yeah.
bat. Everyone's just like, yeah, that's Diet Coke girl there.
Yeah.
I
Well,
always know what to get her.
sometimes I don't always want to take Excedrin when I have headaches because you can only take Excedrin, like a dose of Excedrin once in 24 hours because
Right.
of the aspirin, not because of the Tylenol.
Right.
So sometimes I'm like, I don't know, we'll try and knock this baby out just with Tylenol. And there's a secret bottle of Tylenol in the guest services office. So sometimes I'll just, frequently I go down there and Kevin's like, what the fuck are you
Are
doing?
you slowly making your way through it?
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who uses it.
Good. You gotta exploit that.
So I feel like it wasn't right off the bat, but it has become my personality at the aviary is that I'm always on some form of painkiller.
It's chronic illness.
I feel weird calling my ailments a chronic illness. I feel like a
Should
chronic
you not
illness.
want me to call it that?
No, because I just don't know. This is another thing I'm thinking about because
Okay.
it's like, Can you call PCOS a chronic illness? I mean, it's chronic. It's no cure.
It's not a disease,
It's not a disease. I mean, it's a syndrome.
It's a syndrome.
Which I don't know where that falls. But then it's like that affects all the other stuff going on. And I just had chronic headaches before this. And it's like, is that a chronic illness?
I don't know. Would you call... My sister has type 1 diabetes. Does she have a chronic illness?
I think so. I think that counts.
I think PCOS counts too, but I'm not the authority because I don't have it and you do, so you know way more than me about it. It just seems like
You know that it fucking sucks is
it's
what I know.
It's chronic, and it sucks chronically.
It's a chronic suck.
Yeah, it's a chronic suck.
Anyway, I don't know why we're talking so much about my personal life on this
I can
podcast.
delete any of that you want me
I don't
to.
even care anymore.
Okay.
It's like, listen.
It'd be like that sometimes.
After this podcast, I'm going to pitch myself into the sea.
So. No, don't. I was going to hang up my birthday present.
Oh, that's right. I stubbed my toe on it really hard the other day. And
no.
I was like, I need to bring this out. But then I was like, will that look like passive-aggressive? You haven't hung up the birthday present I got you yet. So then Tybalt and I had a conversation about it. And Tybalt was like, don't be an asshole. And I was like, fat words coming from you. And then we went on with our day.
Guess who the manic one is? That should be a fun drinking game. In the first 30 seconds, you have to guess who the manic one is. And if you get it wrong, you get shot.
That's not a drinking game. That's like Russian roulette. It's EHR roulette.
I think I got shot and shots mixed up.
Oh.
I'm Boo Boo the Fool.
You should play Russian roulette to the tune of Shots by LMFAO.
We watched so much Supernatural last night, and I'm still really just like digesting it. I have to think about that.
Today I was thinking about what was like Dean's really good metaphor where it's like we've been hitting the piñata but no candies come out or something like that.
I know. He had some
like,
really weirdly good.
Evocative.
Yeah. Super weird. We also realized he has big Matt energy.
It's true, he does.
And we couldn't remember if we'd said that on this podcast already.
I'm so glad you remembered to say it today.
I did.
Were you like...
No, I just
when you tap your head and you like know it goes into the vault.
Goldfish brain was like, oh, got super excited because it remembered a thing.
Yeah.
Yay.
A little dose of serotonin.
After this, I'm going to shave my head.
Cool.
Not all of it, just the regular parts.
You could just go full bald.
Your
hair
hair
would
could
grow back in like a week.
I could, yeah, but that would be a Tom Holland just went full bald.
What?
He looks like Eminem now, according to the internet.
Okay,
I don't think anyone looks like Eminem except Eminem.
Guess what time it is?
Sally Googles Tom Holland's haircut. I don't know
Tom
if it's
Holland
on Insta either.
Bald.
He's not like Professor X Egghead bald. Egghead. He's just like shaved his head real close.
Tom Holland just debuted a buzz cut that left Twitter in tears. See fan reactions.
They were like, no, his curls.
Oh, he looks fine.
I know. I was like, it's Tom Holland. He's a cutie no matter what he does.
I mean, he does look like, I don't know. I feel like it's impossible for a man to shave his head and not look vaguely like a skinhead.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is just like something you should all be concerned about.
Listen, I just think if you have curls, you should work them.
Yeah. I love a curly boy.
I know, boys with curly hair are like... Okay, boys with all types of hair or no hair at all are lovely. Boys. Lizzo, boys. But boys with curly hair are very good. All my boys are curly-headed. I just realized that.
All the boys you've collected in your
all
life?
All of my collection of boys. You know how yesterday you were like, how do you have all the good boys?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's all the curly hair that they possess.
No, I was thinking about it. Last night I realized that my good boy is Cole. I have one good boy that's
you
Cole,
do have
and
Cole.
he has curly hair.
Damn, what's the like curly... Okay, I can't really say my brother is good yet because he's still in his weird... he like texted me and was like, are they making a like female remake of it was like, are they making a female Spider-Man movie? And I was like, well, they're making like a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse with Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, and like all of the female spider people.
Cool.
And I was like, so that's pretty cool, but it'll be animated, so that's like not, it's not a live action female superhero movie like we should get more of. And he was like, oh, cool. He was like, it's about time. And I was like, look at you, little feminist. And he was like, I'm not a feminist, I'm a humanist. And I was
my God.
That's what feminism is, you dipshit.
Yeah.
You can't with you.
Family is hard, man.
It is.
Family is rough and tumble.
It sure is. Speaking of... I need to stop doing speaking of intros to get into actual Wheel of Time, because then I end up deleting the thing I was speaking about.
Then it's extremely funny when you're like, speaking of the nuclear holocaust.
Speaking of Chernobyl, let's get into...
Parent and fails relationship.
Parent and fails Oh, an apt metaphor. Not gonna lie. Walked right into that one.
It's true.
That one's on me. You get to tell me about it.
Yeah, Emily and I did this fun thing this week where we have 3 chapters. I read 2 of them, and she read the 3rd one.
Is it fun, or is it incredibly lazy? You decide.
Yeah. It's fucking fun. We've never been lazy in our lives.
No, never. I am the definition of work ethic.
It's true. Emily is the best student you could have possibly had.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say something sincere about my actual work ethic, but then you went with the thing that I committed to the least in the entire world. Guys, I was a fucking terrible student. I was like, fuck you.
You got good grades.
Yeah, that does not make me a good student. That makes me a good test taker. / essay writer, which is mostly what I was doing by the end.
Okay, anyway, we open on Jaime Lannister riding a horse. Thought I'd bring that fun bit back.
Fucking only, am I right?
No, we open on Perrin, and he's, like, saying some dramatic shit about leaving his room and how, like, it's lost the scent of him, blah, blah, blah.
What? Already? He's still standing there.
I know. He's like, it's like, I've never been here. And it's like, who cares, Perrin? This is a dumb intro.
It's like he's leaving a hotel room and it's like, how swift the sands of time. This room will be turned over in the next...
Extremely dramatic.
Who gives a fuck, Perrin?
And of course he's got like a little monologue about how he doesn't want to carry a weapon anymore, blah, blah, blah. But then he walks out and there, just crouching, is Gaul.
The tallest boy.
Yeah. I'm worried about his knees. He does a lot of crouching.
Yeah. Well...
But he's also super ripped.
Yeah, you know what that means is he has thighs of steel.
We all been
could crush us with his thighs.
We all know that Gaul is a sexual powerhouse.
I didn't know that I had any interest in men's thighs until I saw Tom Holland in the most recent Spider-Man movie. And then I was like, oh, he has really good thighs in that spandex.
It is interesting when you, like...
suddenly are like, oh, now I'm aware of that body part.
Yeah, like the coming together of a sexual constellation, you know?
Yeah. Wrists? Like, didn't know that was a thing, but then I saw Tom Hardy in Mad Max Fury Road, and I was like, oh, wrists.
Yeah, and then I didn't know I was into hands until I read Maggie Stiefvater describe Adam Parrish's hands, and I was like, fuck.
In vivid gay detail.
Immediately, I need to see everybody's hands. Am I attracted to you? Let me see your hands.
Can you imagine? Let me see your hands. Winter is the hell season. Well, your hand fetish is completely...
I know. Winter is
obscured.
Like, fuck you and the things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Anyway. Speaking of fetishes, Gaul is there, and he's extremely tall, and I love him. That's where you should start the episode.
Just delete the last 18 minutes.
Yeah, the last 18 minutes are me just being sad, so I think that's fine. Then they go out to the stables, and Fail and Loyal are there. And Loyal's like, she's about to leave your ass, homeboy, because of their stupid agreement. Whatever, Perrin saddles his horse, and then, like, some earthquake thing happens because of Rand, everybody's assuming. I think it's when he sticks Kalendor into the stone.
It's always weird when something happens in the wheel world that affects everyone, but because of the way books work, it doesn't actually happen simultaneously. Yeah. So we view it, like, 4 different times.
Wheel of Time is big into that, too.
Yeah, after Sidon gets cleansed, that's, like, the whole plot of the next dang book, is everyone just reacting to that.
Dang.
It's pretty wild.
But I assume it's Rando, because, like, Perrin also mentions that Rand's called all the nobles to the heart of the keep, or whatever. And I assume it's when he, like, plunges Kalendor into the stone or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
So Perrin and Fail and Gaul and Bane and Chiad. I've almost mixed up their names there.
Beyond
and Chan.
Beyond and Chan.
Yeah.
Sure.
But There's a lot of, like, dumb bickering about the battle of the sexes, where it feels like, Perrin can trail me like a little dog. And the ladies think it's so funny, and I'm like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, just skip right over all that.
Anyway, so they're, like, going out of the city, and they're like, the AA will never keep up, but they do.
But they do.
Which is extremely funny.
Yeah, I always forget they have to, like, travel to a Waygate.
Yeah.
For, like, there's one that's just in a fucking basement in Camelin, you know?
Amazing.
And I'm always just, like, assume that it's in a basement for some reason.
Yeah,
but,
I feel like they are all in a basement, kind of.
Yeah, they're in a metaphorical basement, if not a literal one.
That's true.
A symbolic basement.
A symbolic basement.
The basement of my heart.
Cool. So they like go to the way. It's basically this whole chapter is just a lot of annoying tension, and then they go to the Waygate, and then they go through the Waygate, and Gaul's like, Perrin, you're a fucking idiot, but in like a sassy way.
Yeah,
it's like it's fun to be so young, isn't it?
It's fun to be so young.
Yeah.
You dipshit.
But yeah, they are just in the ways now, which is basically what happens. They're not really a whole lot to say. I feel like we covered all the annoying parts of Perrin and Fail's relationship last episode.
Yeah, just gotta keep trucking through them.
Yeah. Perrin talks a lot about how he's running to escape the pull of Ta'Veren on Ta'Veren, which I guess is... Why am I, like, behind the mic? What's happening?
I don't know.
I'm just doing a lot of leaning.
That's okay.
A lot of... Have you ever seen While You Were Sleeping?
I've seen it, but not in a long time. All I know is that my family quotes it a lot. These mashed potatoes are so creamy. They say that every time we have mashed potatoes. It's the most annoying shit in the universe. But someone in my family, I'll even do it. If no one has done it, I'll say it. Because I feel like I can't eat mashed potatoes.
Yeah, if you don't do it, someone will die.
Yeah, it's like a curse.
The heart of the Jusha family will die.
Ugh.
I'm reading... No. Focused. I am focused. We're not going to talk about everything happening in my life this week.
Okay, what about leaning and While You Were Sleeping?
Well, there's just, like... It's, like, this dumb part of the plot where Bill Pullman... Is that his name? I think so. The love interest is, like, are you okay? That guy was, like, lean in, you know? Where the idea is, like, you, like, lean into people. And he's, like, got his elbow on the wall. And he's, like, leaning in a sexy way. And then later the love interest does a lean in, and she's like, ooh.
A fun callback.
Yeah, like a fun callback.
I learned what a callback was from the Princess Diaries. The foot popping thing.
Yeah.
Because they call back to that so egregiously, like 9 different times.
Okay, The Princess Diaries is a perfect movie. Don't you
I
dare say
don't
anything
say
against
egregiously
it.
in a negative way. I just mean, that's how I learned.
Your hair looks insane right now. It's like so. You did look like Kuru from Haikyuu. It was so spiky. It was so good.
If I get the spikes in the back and
Yeah.
just kind of pull.
Yeah!
I'm telling you.
You really do look like him. It's really
Everyone
funny.
just Google. I'm not going to give you a visual of what I look like right now, but just Google Haikyuu Kuru.
Yes, Kuroo.
Yeah, and Haikyuu is Haikukyuu. And look at that character, and that's what I look like.
Yeah, 100%.
My
He's
hair-
also got her coat hanger body type.
Yeah, he and I just have really similar energy, now that I think about it.
And he's got a lovely boyfriend who is insane.
Or several.
Or several. Haikyuu is just about a bunch of boys who are dating each other and love volleyball.
Yeah.
It's very wholesome.
It's super good.
Yeah.
Everyone watch it. Okay, back to...
Anyway, the next chapter we pick up with Elaine and Nynaeve, who have ridden in a bumpy carriage down to the docks.
The wharf.
The wharf.
Wharf.
The wharf. And we get the first of many arguments between them about money, where
Of
Nynaeve
course.
is like, I don't tip people when they've done a bad job with the job I already paid them to do. And Elaine is like giving away bags of silver. So, you know.
Who are you on the spectrum?
Bags of silver.
Yeah, me too. I don't ever have the guts to not tip someone.
Well, it's like, even if you did a shitty job waiting on me, you have to wait on me.
Yeah.
And that's already, like, I'm sorry, you have to work in this restaurant where I know people are mostly mean to you.
I also just assume that I'm insufferable somehow.
Yeah, of course.
Even if no one has said to me, Emily, you're insufferable to waitstaff, which I assume someone has to have told Nynaeve at some point.
I mean, they all tell her all the time.
Yeah, they're always like, Nynaeve, you're the worst to people in the service industry, and she just keeps on doing her thing. No one's told me that, but I just assume that in some way I am, and so that, therefore, they deserve compensation for dealing with me.
Well, yeah, I feel like being a customer, the customer is always wrong.
Yeah. I've just worked too much in customer service to not assume the best of the workers.
True.
Yeah.
But anyway, then they board the Sea Folk ship, and Elaine has her whole weird description. Robert Jordan loves to describe different cultures based on clothing, as we all know.
Sure does, or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof, in this instance, when a Sea Folk woman enters the cabin naked to the waist.
Yeah.
And Elaine's like, shit, those are titties.
Titties! Never seen any of them, except for mine, and I don't know, Wheel of Time isn't actually, for all their, like, sanctimoniousness about nudity, women get naked around each other quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm sure Elaine has seen Avienda's titties, at least.
I guess it's that they're around men, and that means... anyway, whatever. It's stupid. That's all.
But yeah, then they have a very, the Sea Folk are very, like, at least Moiraine has told Nynaeve and Elaine that the Sea Folk are very into manners and ceremony, so they have this talk where they're like, take us to Tenchico, and it's like a whole conversation where Nynaeve is not very tactful, despite Elaine's begging her to be tactful.
Elaine's like, be tactful, and Nynaeve just walks into every room and is like, hey, fuck you!
Yeah. That's just her personality.
Yeah, she'd just be like that.
But basically, we learn from the Sea Folk that Rand is not only the Dragon Reborn and the Ales, he who comes with the dawn, but the Sea Folk's Coramor.
Which is interesting, because we haven't even had it confirmed yet that he's the Ale.
That's true.
Person yet. How do they have confirmation from the Sea Folk? They've just had, like, signs and prophecies and
yeah,
something?
I can't remember. Because they also, what does she say? They also, Elaine and Nynaeve and the Sea Folk people hear Rand's, like, earthquake or whatever.
And they're like, oh, dang, that's Jesus.
Oh, shit. I can't remember if that's what it is or if they're just talking.
Fantasy Jesus.
Fantasy Jesus.
Fantasy Jesus, where all your dreams come true.
Not with Rand, though. Your dreams do not come true with fantasy.
There's got to be another Fantasy Jesus where all my dreams do come true. Let me think of all the Fantasy Jesuses that I know.
Okay, you do that. I'll look through the book.
It's hard, though. I guess Frodo, is he a Fantasy Jesus? A little bit. He did suffer for all of us, didn't he?
It just says they're talking about it. He can wield the one power and holds the sword that cannot be touched. The Ale have come over the dragon wall. I've seen several in the streets, and it said they fill the stone. The stone of fear has fallen. Prophecy is being fulfilled, blah, 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 blah. The prophecy is being fulfilled. He is the Coramor. I said I serve him. You are proof of that. So, yeah, it's just prophecy stuff.
I said I serve him, so they're, like, the last sign. Because Elaine and Nynaeve were like, hello, we're here on a mission from the Dragon Reborn. Or something.
Yeah, basically Elaine spills the beans, and Nynaeve is like, could you shut the fuck up for once in your life? And Elaine is like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
I make up for your lack of tact with sheer social idiocy.
Together somehow we don't die.
Together somehow we don't die.
Our idiocy becomes so strong it's impenetrable.
Oh my god.
But that's why they agree to help them, because she's like, we'll help you because you're helping the Coramor and like da-da-da, prophecy, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Then they hear the big dang earthquake that Rand makes by plunging his glass sword into the ground or whatever. And then they run up above deck.
Oh, and that's where it flips over to me.
That's where it flips over to you. See, this is why we let Emily do. I feel like I did such a ridiculous job of that.
You did. That
I was like,
great.
Detail, boring.
I feel like I got caught up.
Tipping.
I didn't know what the fuck was happening. I was like, Elaine and Nynaeve are on the deck of the ship now.
Yeah, and I just handed Emily the book yesterday, and I was like, read this.
And I was like, okay, but not right now, because I don't want to.
Yeah, and then we went and watched Supernatural. So.
Yeah, then we went and watched Supernatural.
Tell me about boats.
They're ships.
Fucking hell. Tell me about ships.
Excuse you. I don't actually know anything about ships, because in the 5th grade I did my report on castles, not pirate ships. But... that said, I read a lot of Wikipedia summaries today about sailing, and now I feel like I know a little bit more. For one thing, the Seafolk ship is huge, which had, never really figured into my mind before. For some reason, when I read about ships, especially because I know that they don't have cannons below decks, I'm, unable to picture the, scale of that. I always just assume that they're large yachts for some reason. But no, this is a big fucking pirate ship.
How do you know it's big?
Because it has... actually, Robert Jordan describes it as having 4 masts, but that's pretty ridiculous, because, you can have 4 or 5 masts, but,
that's a lot.
yeah, 3 masts is, typical for a big pirate ship.
Okay, and this one has 4?
This one, Robert Jordan says, has 4, but I am convinced it's either a typo or Elaine's an unreliable narrator.
I don't know how to count. It's 4 or whatever.
Well, it gets confusing to look at, because there's also, so the 3 sails are the foresail, that's the one at the front of the ship.
Okay.
Then the main sail, that's the biggest one in the middle, and then the mizzen mast, that's the one at the, back of the ship.
Okay.
And then you can have another thing behind. Supposedly, if there's a 4th sail, then it's called, the Gibbermast or something.
Gibbermast?
I can't remember. I think that might be just gibberish. You can look me up. But
I'm gonna Google Gibbermast.
It gets pretty confusing, too, because then you have, when you, add, it gets so weird. You have the bowsprit, I don't know how to say that word. It looks like bowspirit, but it's actually BOWSPRIT, and it's that, front, long part of the ship, the, pointy part that extends out over the water, and you can have sails connected to that, and it kind of looks like a mast almost, Alright, do you have a diagram for me?
Bowsprit.
Bowsprit? How could I possibly? The bow. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. The bow of the ship, not the bow of the ship.
Literally the stupidest.
What?
Recently Googles. Bowsprit, Gibbermast, Tom Holland bald, legs too long hideous, summon lesser demon 5E, Bison
Summon lesser demon 5E, were you looking up the critical role thing?
No, my character has that spell now. Yeah.
That's so good.
Costume designer Shrek is the final one.
Oh my
God. Also
God.
the costume designer for Wheel of Time. Thank you, Sarah McClintock, for being a perfect character.
It's not
creature.
It's not a Gibbermast.
What is it?
I can't remember.
A Merzen mast?
It's not the mizzen mast.
No, I know that's the mizzen mast. I said Merzen mast. Don't be stupid, Emily.
Anyway, so basically it's a full-rigged ship, which means that it's big.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy. Jiggermast.
Jiggermast.
Jigger. My B's and my G's get mixed up. Yeah, so it's a big ship, and it's also said to have both square sails and triangular sails, Elaine describes it as, which was pretty typical by, the age of sailing, which is what we typically think of, the golden age of pirates, the, 17th and 18th centuries before we had steam-powered ships.
Okay.
But after we had kind of moved past the whole rowing thing.
We had, sails and wind and
yeah, we had,
cannons.
winds and sails and cannons, which is,
we all know the wind was invented in the 17th century.
Yeah, the wind didn't happen until the 17th century. Some Prometheus thing happened then.
Yeah.
They unleashed the wind. Anyway.
Percy Jackson opened his little bag.
His
little
little
thermos that
thermos full of
gives
wind.
him. Yeah. And he was like, beans. And then the pirates were like, finally!
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about Percy Jackson the other day after I finished Trials of Apollo, and I was thinking how my favorite book is probably the 3rd one, because the, central gods in that one are Apollo and Artemis, and they're, my 2 faves.
Yeah, they're the bomb.com.
They're the
.org.uk.
bomb.com. Sea of Monsters is weird because it's mostly, just Hermes.
Yeah.
And it's, odd.
I was the 3rd one because it has to do with Atlas, and I think Atlas is an interesting character.
Atlas is an interesting character.
Mythologically and in that book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, the Percy Jackson books are rad.
Yeah, they were just really good. Book 4 is Festus, I guess, mostly. I can't talk about this. I will go through all of them, though, in my brain.
Anyway, the wind was invented in the 17th century, and that was the golden age of piracy.
And that was when they started being able to, like, oh, we can attack other boats. Whee!
Whee! Time to do murders at sea.
Anyway, so it's a big ship, which is a little then confusing, because if it's a big ship, then it's got to have a pretty, it's got to go pretty deep in the water, you know? Which means that it would be harder to sail in, like, rivers in the shallows, which the sea folk are famous for doing, kind of, like, sticking to more of the coastal areas and being, like, light and maneuverable. But then they also have the biggest fucking ships in the, like, world.
Do you think...
So, basically, I don't really get it.
It's magic. Do you think that's part of what the wind finder does? Is make the boat go zoom?
Did you forget the part of the chapter where that actually happens?
Makes the boat lighter?
No, but she makes the winds, like...
Yeah. I mean, I know that's what she does. Oh, my fucking hell.
No, I don't think they make the boat lighter. I just think that either I don't understand sailing, which is probably about 90% what it probably is, or 10% Robert Jordan didn't understand sailing.
I mean, sailing is confusing.
But Robert Jordan seems like the type of person who would enjoy sailing because he, like, has, like, I don't know, a pipe collection and shit.
Yeah, he looks like a captain.
Yeah, he looks like a sea captain.
Yeah,
so I'm assuming he gets it. And also, like, the ships wouldn't be as heavy, sort of, because you don't have cannons.
Yeah.
But they do have full passenger cabins, apparently, so it's just fucking wild. I don't know.
Maybe physics works different in real world.
Who knows?
And
I don't understand the physics of sailing at all.
How do boats float?
It's so... I mean, boats floating, that's one thing. But the sails? Aerodynamics? That's fucking ridiculous. Did you know if you have to go in the direction that the wind is blowing, assuming you're not on a ship that can change the direction of the wind, which is why the sea folk are so dang fast, then you have to, like, move in a zigzag pattern. Just so that the wind is, like, kind of hitting your sails. And you move the sails a little bit so that the wind is just hitting them horizontally. Or, like, parallel to them. And then that kind of moves the boat in a, like, horizontal direction. It's so fucking weird, is what I'm saying.
I wish I was a pirate.
I sort of do, too, so I could say all the nautical terms. Did you know the nautical terms page on Wikipedia is so long? It's so long. I couldn't even get halfway through B. No.
Nautical
it's so
terms.
Long. Because there's so many words I haven't even used that I learned today.
Glossary of nautical terms.
Like
Let's
a
go to a
jib.
sexy letter.
I know what a boom is now.
Xebec, a Mediterranean sailing ship, usually employed for training.
Oh, something else I learned. Fuck. So all of the Shanshan ships are described as having ribbed sails. That means that they have battens in the sails, which was like a form of sails that primarily the Chinese used. Which kind of like adds to the Shanshan's quote-unquote Oriental in the Orientalism sense.
Mae West, a Second World War personal flotation device used to keep people afloat in the water. Named after the 1930s actress Mae West, well known for her large bosom.
What a fucking legacy. Are you fucking kidding? You just have the hugest titties, so someone invents life jackets and are like, huh, I look like Mae West. I look like that big titties lady. And everyone's like, yay! Well, just that'll be the technical term. What a fucking... Sailors are so weird. God, I love them.
It's so funny.
Ugh.
I know what man of war is from black sails.
Yeah.
That's where I learned that.
What I don't understand is how not just the men but also the women are shirtless on the sea folk ship. Because not to like shame them, that is totally fine. But wouldn't you worry constantly about your nipples or whatever getting rope burn? There's so many ropes and things flying around, and you're climbing ropes, and you're getting sunburned and shit.
But, I mean, I feel like you'd also worry about your skin. So maybe their nipples just toughen up like their skin does. It's more magic.
It's just all magic.
It's all magic.
Sea folk magic. Tough nipples, light boats, all that.
Big dicks.
Nope. Don't want to.
No, that's a bad stereotype. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a bad that I did.
Yeah.
Big dick energy.
They do have big dick energy.
They're cool, like earrings and stuff.
I know, they just have really cool aesthetic
colorful
power.
pants.
Yeah.
Or their colorful sashes, whatever it is.
The aesthetic power of the sea folk is pretty much unparalleled.
Baggy wrinkle. A soft covering for cables that prevents sail chafing.
For the nipples.
Yes.
Particularly.
What's another fun? Let's do one from each of our names. Letters. Name letters. Where's E? I don't know what
There's no E's in the nautical.
I don't know what I've done. Okay, here it is. Earrings.
Yes. That's mine. You can't change it.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No. You don't even want to read the rest of them? It's not even about earrings that you put in your ears. Different boat type of earring. Am I driving you crazy?
I am dissociating pretty heavily.
Okay, well, Emily gets earrings, which are small lines by which the uppermost corners of the largest sails are secured to the yard arms.
I know what all that meant.
Oh, good for fucking you.
You too can spend upwards of 3 hours just browsing Wikipedia boat terms.
I mean, I probably should. All things considered.
Yeah, now I can give you a tutorial on how to
Thank you.
sail a
Please
ship.
just go ahead and write that section of my book for me.
I can't, but I can tell you.
You could.
No, I can just tell you. You have to be so good at math to sail a ship.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point
I know.
of my boat character.
But now I'm like, oh my god, he's so good at math.
So fucking good at
so
math.
fucking good at math.
Writing's hard, and I should just give up on that.
Stop.
Emily is such a good writer. Did you guys know?
She's not.
What? Don't talk about yourself in the third person like
You
that.
started it.
I don't know what's happening.
Well, you're still scrolling through. I'm still waiting for you to come up with an S term.
Kate will
S nautical
go
term.
with
South.
sloop.
Ooh, I know what a sloop is.
Okay, fine. We'll go with smack.
I know what smack is too, but probably not the type that they're thinking of.
A traditional fishing boat used off the coast of England and the Atlantic coast of America for most of the 19th century, and in small numbers up to the mid-20th century.
Interesting.
That's a smack.
That's a smack.
Okay, what else? Tom and Julin are there now.
Yeah, and Nynaeve and Elaine are like up on the deck, and then they suddenly see Tom and Julin, and I keep getting it mixed up. The main sea folk lady is like, they asked to go where you're going, but we're not going to let them unless you give us the okay. And so Elaine and Nynaeve are like, what the fuck are you doing here? And they're like, your men sent us, and also Moiraine. Like, why were Rand and Lan like, we need to send a competent man with our women? First of all, that's dumb. But then also they were like, Julin. Neither of them has met him. What the shit?
What if they're like, that's just Tom's boyfriend?
They're... What?
Yeah,
It's
really odd.
It's so odd. How do they find Julin?
I'm just confused as, like, Julin is fine, I guess, but I don't understand why he sticks around for so long.
He's a character for so fucking long, and he does fucking nothing.
What if, like...
I'm reading the last book in the Wheel of Time, and there's, like, a character that just was introduced who just, like, says bad poetry. Not bad poetry, like fantasy poetry, but he's like...
So bad poetry.
He's like, I'm an emo dude, and I just love poetry. And I'm like, where's this guy fucking been, right?
Yeah.
I could have had him instead of Julin.
Could you imagine?
Like, she has a personality.
If Tom was like, this is your emo guide.
Yeah, he's the king of Shinar. It's really fucking cool.
Cool.
I know, I was like, tell me more.
Tell me more.
Tell me more
Like,
about
does he-
Shinar.
Close. Does he have a bottom?
Anyway, they're like, so yeah, can we go with you? And Elaine and Nynaeve were like, yeah, okay.
For some reason, I'd be like, get the fuck off my fucking
Well,
boat.
Nynaeve's like, you can go with us if you promise to follow our orders. And the men are like, okay, well, we have literally no choice, so for sure. Sure, we'll do that, but really we won't, because we know better than you.
I really hate this series' emphasis on, like, who's commanding who.
Yeah.
Like, it's a problem in literally every relationship. Like I think of, like, Elaine and Nynaeve in Ebu Dar and their whole thing about, like, Matt needs to listen to us or whatever.
Which is so bizarre considering the power dynamics they're struggling with, also with, like, the Aes Sedai they're traveling with.
Yeah.
And how, like, weirdly compelling that is when they finally are like, hey, your hierarchy based on power is actually bullshit.
Yeah.
But if we're going by that, then we should be way more in charge of you than you are of us.
Yeah.
And, like, that's, like, sort of interesting. But then, yeah, it's like, but we're in charge of Matt because we feel like we need to control Matt. And it's just like,
what is happening? Yeah, but, shit? Like, Nynaeve's whole, you have to follow my orders.
Yeah.
And Elaine's, too. I keep wanting to say egg. God, if only we were in an egg point of view.
Were here. Anyway, then Nynaeve goes, also Elaine tugs on Tom's mustaches because she's having weird deja vu whenever she looks at him because she hasn't seen him until this point. Well, like, she's seen him around in the Stone of Tyr, but, like, this is her first interaction with him on screen. And is like, deja vu. And then tugs on his facial hair. He's a stranger, and she does that.
She's like, beep, beep.
Yeah, and she's, like, mortified. But it's like, you can control your hands. What's happening?
Consider you have bodily autonomy.
Yeah, girl. Are you...
It's very weird. Her relationship with Tom in the next couple books is gross.
Wild. Yeah, Nynaeve goes below decks, and then, like, Elaine and Tom end up chatting, and they're just, like, about, like, weird shit. Elaine's like, why are you even here? And Tom's like, because Maureen asked me. And I figured that Rand could take care of himself for a while. Right. Kind of nervous laughter. And Elaine's like, oh, haha, the idea of Rand being cared for by this elderly gentleman. And it's like, are you kidding? Rand's the least competent person on this entire planet.
Yeah.
Of course he needs help from this elderly gentleman. Tom's the most competent person on this planet.
Well,
in many ways. Not all.
He's no Talmanes.
He's no Talmanes, but he's pretty dang talented.
I'm sorry, Talmain or whatever
Talmon.
the fuck. Talmon.
Yeah, they just have like a weird combo, and then it gets cut off really abruptly when Helene realizes that the Windfinder is channeling to like give them the wind, whatever, and then goes and chats with her about it, and is like, I promise. Well, I can't promise that I won't tell anyone, but I will promise that I'll try not to. And the lady's like, okay, well, fuck that. But then they're like, oh, we'll teach each other how to do this. And then they're friends, I guess. But anyway, it's introducing the concept of, like, channelers outside of the White Tower's jurisdiction who are struggling to remain outside the White Tower's jurisdiction. And the sort of struggle that ends up ensuing because, of course, the White Tower is like, okay, but we really are heading for the last battle, and we literally do need every channeler possible to, like, be a united front. Anyway, it's wild. But that's that chapter. Hope you learned about ships.
Mizzenmast.
Yep. That's the one at the back of the ship. The stern.
The stern.
Yep.
Cool.
The bow is the front.
Bow.
That's why it's the bowsprit.
Bowsprit.
Bowspit. I wish it was the bowspit.
Gonna go do my bow spitting.
Do you know what the job definition? What the fuck? Do you know what the job definition of a boatswain is? It's like he's just in charge of all the ropes. It's
a fun job.
Fucking weird.
I want to be in charge of ropes.
Yeah, that's Billy Bones' job before.
Billy is the boatswain?
I believe he is, yeah.
I thought he was just the boy.
He's the boatswain.
He's the ship's boy.
He is. He's not quite the cabin boy. He's too much shoulders for that.
He's the cabin shoulders.
To be, cabin boy, you have to be just Tom Holland. He's the only cabin boy that makes sense.
What's their job? Be small?
Cabin boy?
Yeah.
Like mop and shit.
No, be small.
Yeah, be small. Jump in the whale or whatever. I know, it was a horrifying scene. Okay, this has been a weird...
I don't know what happened in this episode. Do you guys feel like you've regretted listening to 85 episodes of this?
Sort of full of regret.
I'm full of a lot of regrets.
Like
the whole opening of this podcast.
Episode. Yeah, I'm sorry.
My whole life up to this point, it feels like a lie and a waste.
Damn, dude.
My hands hurt.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry if you listened to this episode. If you didn't, you probably made the right choice. I don't know what's happening. But if you did listen, thank you.
Thanks for listening. Thanks to Glenn and Mackenzie for the use of our theme song. Thank you to thank you to all of our social media followers and to those who are contributing money to our Patreon. That's very nice of you. I hope the content is rewarding in some small way.
Anyway,
Do you have a sign off?
this was Everybody Hates Rand or something. I do. I have several options, as we discussed yesterday.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
can choose.
I don't want to choose. Only you can truly search in the depths of your heart. And
I feel like, are these sign-offs even fun anymore?
yeah, I think
Should
people,
we just say
people
don't
talk
do a
about
war
them all the
crime?
time.
They're like, Sally's a fucking human car crash.
No.
And we're worried about her.
And our listeners are also human car crashes. Kit, have you gone to the doctor yet?
Not in this economy.
Kit,
Go to the fucking doctor.
worried about you.
I'm worried, babe. Okay, last week I went to the infamous Nickel Cave.
The nickel cave!
Which I love and adore.
Returning.
Yeah, returning to
Returning
the
guest.
scene of, yeah, friend of the podcast, Nickel
The
Cave.
Nickel Cave.
What if the Nickel Cave was our first sponsor?
I would die. But it has to be that note app that you love.
Evernote?
Evernote.
Ah, I love Evernote.
Yeah.
Evernote features prominently in the most recent blooper reel on
I'm
our
going to be
Patreon.
blindly styling my hair to look exactly like Peru
Okay,
while you talk.
you go
so
ahead.
Just don't look.
I won't. So after we, did our arcading and we, got all of our tickets and stupid prizes, we were outside of the Nickelcade. Me and a couple of my coworkers / friends. You might know exactly who I'm talking about.
Of the podcast.
And we were just, shooting the shit, being lads, saying
Just
dumb
lads
stuff.
Being lads.
Lads being lads, and at one point, the 16-year-old in this group, who I'm not just friends with a random 16-year-old, he is related to one of my actual friends, was talking about how he had 2 dates this weekend. And me, being an idiot, was like, oh, what's the turnaround time between those? Does it just, depend on how slutty you're feeling? Or whatever, something along those lines. I can't. You said blindly. You said you were going to do it blindly.
Oh, I forgot.
You've done an excellent job, though. So I was like, yeah, does it just depend? Are you just, feeling slutty or whatever? And he was like, what?
What?
Me not realizing that, most people don't know that slutty, in my opinion, is a great thing
Term
to
of
be.
endearment.
But I understand why he wouldn't think that. But we're also just talking about, stupid stuff and saying a lot of swears and stupid shit. And then...
The prestige.
Then, a couple minutes later, said 16-year-old is like, oh, I'm on the phone? What? And, for the past 20 minutes, his mother has been listening in on this conversation where I called her 16-year-old son, her 16-year-old son, a slut. What the fuck is wrong with me? Why did I say this?
I know this is your sign off, but I think it should be her sign off because her son butt dialed her and then she listened for a full 20 minutes.
What? What?
Like, girl, hang up.
No, she's this scary lady.
Okay, well.
But anyway, it's what is wrong with me? What is wrong with this? This woman's first impression of me. The first time I had an opportunity to meet her, I ran away because I was wearing fishnets. And I was like, I can't meet people for the first time wearing fishnets.
You look so sexy.
I don't know if that's true, but thank you. But I definitely was wearing them.
Don't forget this week to be slutty.
That's an excellent sign-off, Emily. I don't know why I'm this close to the microphone.
Because it's correct.
Because it's phallic. We're being slutty.
Stop recording now. Super bad.
Sorry for this episode. Be slutty.
Don't do a war crime. Bye.